The three linebackers in a 4-3 defense each have different responsibilities, but I'm ranking the outside backers in this video, so let's focus on the Sam, strong side linebacker, and the Will, the weak side linebacker. The Sam linebacker usually has to take on the lead blockers in run plays or deal with tight ends, releasing into pass patterns. The Will linebacker is the glamour spot of the 3-4-3 backers. They're the ones who fly to the football and make plays. You'll see teams sacrifice size in favor of speed in the draft. So while the lead blockers are being taken care of by the other two backers, the Will linebacker fights his way through traffic to get to the ball carrier. They need to have instincts and take the right angles. Jamie Collins is number one on my list, and he's simply a stat sheet stuffer. In 12 games last year, he had 51 tackles, 5.5 sacks, an interception, and 5 forced fumbles. As evidenced by those numbers, he's very versatile, can play every linebacker spot, and does everything well. He can blitz, he can cover, he can stop the run, and he can tackle. Collins is a former college safety who has ballooned up to 250 pounds, but he still showcases great speed. When he plays outside, his speed and athleticism allows him to shut down the outside runs, and when he's in the middle, he can take on blockers and stifle the inside runs using his length, big hands, and combination of power and speed. When Collins came into the league, he was seen as an explosive pass rush option. Obviously, he surpassed those expectations, but his skill at getting after the quarterback, it's still there. He can beat you on the edge using his first step quickness and speed, and times his blitzes well through the A-gap. In coverage, Collins gets good depth on his zone drops and attacks the football using his anticipation and closing speed. Anthony Barr is number 2, and heading into his 3rd season, he hopes to raise the bar even further. Barr was an outstanding pass rusher in college and hasn't done it much the first 2 seasons, but when he has, he's shown outstanding first step quickness and speeds around the corner to get to the quarterback. He also did a fantastic job on his blitzes through the A-gap, and despite the limited opportunities, he still posted 3.5 sacks. In run defense, Barr has lightning-fast closing speed and great range to chase the running back along the perimeter and from behind. Barr did, however, have some struggles in coverage. He didn't do it much at UCLA, and it's shown just a little bit so far, but I believe he's too big and too athletic to not improve. Call him David the Goliath. Lavonte David is number 3. His instincts and nose for the ball are outstanding, just so active out there. At 6'1", 233 pounds, David is a bit on the small side. He did play some safety in college, but uses his anticipation and speed to excel in the run game. He wins with leverage, almost always beats the blocker, and can chase down the back no matter where they are on the football field. David uses his experience at safety to help him in coverage. His fluidity and agility allows him to cut and dart after the ball when asked to drop back in zone. I've also seen him do well when going up against a slot receiver, believe it or not. David isn't asked to blitz often. You're going to see that theme a lot on this list. But when he does, he times it well, takes the proper angles, and closes in on the quarterback quickly using that lightning-fast speed. Vontaze Burfict checks in at number 4. He possesses natural ball-hawking instincts in the run game, plays it very instinctively, and cuts through traffic. He's strong, can take on blockers, and shed them to get to the ball carrier. He can also play in space and close the run down. As a hitter, he's one of the most violent ones in the game. Because he's so effective against the run, he's not asked to pass rush a lot. Here's this theme again. He has the closing speed, but tends to get walled off by athletic blockers. In pass coverage, he gives up his fair share of plays, but is smart and gets himself in position to make plays. I've got Sean Lee at number 5. He has still never made it through a full season without getting hurt during his 5-year career, but he did play in 14 contests in 2015. Lee is the best out of all outside linebackers in coverage. He's very fluid with his dropbacks and baits the quarterback into making poor decisions. His instincts allow him to close windows very, very quickly. As a run stuffer, Lee is a tackling machine. Again, those great instincts come into play. He can stack and shed. He doesn't get after the quarterback often, but did register his first sack of his career last year, finished the year with 2.5. KJ Wright is number 6. He's a complete 3-down linebacker. He can get after the quarterback, cover, and stop the run. His best attribute is in coverage. He can match up with the tight ends down the seam and has the closing speed to make plays on ball carriers in the flats. In run defense, he's agile, has the size to take on blockers and speed to make plays in space. He's a consistent tackler, takes the proper angles to the ball carrier. He uses his speed to his advantage when pass rushing, really adept at turning the corner. A trio of ACL tears in 3 years hasn't deterred Thomas Davis from returning to his former self, posting 4 straight 100-plus tackle campaigns. He checks in at number 7. At 6'1", 235, Davis is a 3-down linebacker, and coverage is his greatest strength. He has fantastic quickness in space, agility, and balance. He has the closing speed to break on the ball when dropping back into zone. He can also match up very, very well against tight ends. Because Davis is a bit on the smaller side, he does struggle when it comes to disengaging from a blocker on the move. As a pass rusher, like some other guys on this list, again, not asked to do it often, but when he does, he can be a force. I've got Telvin Smith at number 8. The scouts had their doubts because Smith is only a couple pounds north of 220. They thought he was too small to play linebacker and not fast enough to play safety. Well, Smith has proved them wrong. He's a good blitzer, despite putting up just 2.5 sacks last year. He times them really well and closes in on the quarterback in a hurry. In run defense, Smith's speed and instincts help him greatly, although his tall frame does prevent him from getting great leverage at times. Smith is still a bit inexperienced in coverage, but I've seen flashes, and his athleticism should help him improve more and more in this area, kind of like the Anthony Barr theory here. I've got another converted safety in the top 10, except this one started out as a safety at the pro level instead of college. I'm talking about Mark Barron. He's number 9. And that switch to linebacker has helped Barron restart his career. He's always loved to lay down the wood on ball carriers, and now he gets to do it often as a linebacker. He plays with solid instincts and that aforementioned physicality in the run game. The move to linebacker had a lot to do with Barron's struggles in coverage and still has his downfalls in that area as a linebacker. His hips have always been pretty stiff and isn't really quick with his change of direction. Barron is still learning how to rush the passer as a linebacker, but did show some flashes a year ago. Rounding out my top 10 is Bruce Irvin, who signed with Oakland during the offseason, and he's a guy that likes to get after the quarterback. He notched 5.5 sacks last season. Not a great run defender, but his athleticism helps him in this area. His struggles to find the ball is his downfall. Irvin is very solid in coverage due to his athleticism and length. He covers a lot of ground. Some other guys on the list, there's Koa Misi at 12, Vic Beasley at 14, Stephone Anthony at 15, Jelani Jenkins at 16, and Devon Kennard at 24. Misi is very underrated in Miami. He's strong and uses that size and strength really well in the running game. I'm curious to see how Beasley fares in his transition from defensive end to linebacker. Struggled against the run as a rookie, and the Falcons are hoping that the athletic Beasley will be able to make plays in space rather than being engulfed by an offensive lineman. Anthony comes off a strong rookie season in New Orleans. I like that combo the Saints have with he and Oli Kikaha, but he's not on my list due to injury. Jelani Jenkins is another underrated backer in South Beach, solid tackler, and again, like Misi, at his best playing the run. Kennard showed flashes in the second half of his rookie campaign, but wasn't as great last year, so we'll see what's in store for year 3. As for the Eagles, Mychal Kendricks is number 19. Nigel Bradham, number 25. They're both solid, but the problem in Philly is the depth behind them, and neither Kendricks or Bradham has made it through a 16-game season without getting injured. Alright, so that's my list. 4-3 outside linebackers is in the books. Let me know, whatever realm you're watching this on, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Let me know in the comment section below. Who's in your top 5? Who's in your top 10? Who's your most underrated and overrated outside linebackers? Let me know. I'm Adrian Fedque. I am out. Later.